Hey there, Patapons, Patreons, and everyone that somehow manages to reside in between. This is the video for this week. Um, it's the week that has a video in it. It's surprising. There seems to be a theme in the art these days, as the lucky draw for today was draw a surfing demo. I don't know why there's a question mark. Guess I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But yeah, my name is Raukau. You are probably aware of this if you're watching this video, but I don't know. I don't want to be assuming anything. And I'm gonna be answering questions that people put down on the thing. Adam Gordon starts it all today with really loving the Guacamole LP. I'm replaying it along with you. It's interesting to play this game in short bursts like you've been doing it. Originally, I played it in basically 2 settings. I think it really affects how you experience stuff. I'm really appreciating the nooks and crannies a lot more this time, although I'm worried about Angry Cow making an appearance as we get closer to the hyper-precision dimension switching sections. Oh man, that dates the question a little bit. I am enjoying the Guacamole LP quite a bit, honestly. I've been enjoying film. What am I doing here? I've been enjoying filming it like a ton. It is a really fun game. But I decided to keep this comment here, even though it is obviously not a question, because it addresses the thing that I play. Like I end up playing most games that I'm ever gonna play. Since the last few years and going forward, in a way that is somewhat atypical, because most people will play, a game kind of like in one shot. Even like in the LP sphere, a lot of people actually like record their things in advance or something, in like chunks and whatnot. And I only gonna do that if I have a planned stop or something, So it happens very, very rarely. And I think it has, its ups and downs. I agree that I think that since you refresh your outlook of things once in a while, it does keep things kind of fresh. Like you come back to things and your mind is ready to experience things once again. And that's pretty cool. The thing is though, is that you lose some of the gameplay momentum, so to speak, Sometimes I forget things that the game technically just told me about, but actually there was kind of 24 hours since the last time I played. But I think that the fact that everything has a chance of being new, everything has a chance to give a second chance too, is by far a positive. Like, this has not happened yet in Guacamole, but you play a difficult game, like, you get kind of tired, kind of beat down, you're like, ugh, man, whatever, I'm just gonna pick my nose instead for the rest of my life. But because you have like basically the equivalent of a full day to recuperate, you get back fresh, you're ready, you can focus again and give things an honest try once more. It's useful when playing games that are obviously made by many people, but it's nice to be able, I think, to recharge between, good chunks of, or even small chunks of playthroughs that you just don't get playing normally. So yeah, like, of course, there's a thing where I don't really take breaks ever during that chunk, but I mean, that's not a problem of itself, I don't think. It's just, that, because my chunks are typically small. Like, honestly, like, I consider a gameplay session extremely long when it goes up to a measly 1 hour. 1 hour is not a lot. You got peeps out there who are gonna play a chosen game for, like, the whole day, or, like, 2, 3, 4 hour chunks, and they're gonna have a good time. Streamers are going to be playing a game for like 4 or 5 hours, if not more, and they're going to have a good time. There's nothing wrong with that too. It's just that it does create a very different experience. I like for things to last, so I'm kind of lucky in a sense that getting involved into Let's Plays and all that made it so that I enjoy games in a way where they're basically kind of like stretched out in just the perfect way, where they last a lot longer in terms of time, But since it's only 1 day apart between each session, it still remains fresh enough. Like you don't lose out on everything. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe at some point I had a point in wanting to put this down, but at least I said all that. And now your world will be irrecoverably changed forever. Thank you. Meanball Rider, dear Raocow, dare you enter my wizardy... No, dare you enter my wizardy realm. Sometimes if you read too fast, your word looks at, like your brain looks at a word, it's like, it's that long, it's probably this word, it has these letters, it's probably No, you need to read each word. There you enter my wizardy realm, and then, then instead of giving me a ticket to his wizardy realm, he gives me a YouTube link. Those are different things, but it's okay. You are forever forgiven, Meanball Rider. Today we're listening to SRW OG's The Final Judge Extended. Those are Gundams! Except I don't recognize SRW. Well, no. Well, W is probably wings. But what's SR? SRW original... What? Oh, Super Robot Wars! Of course! Of course! It's that thing that combines all the robots. One! Oh, by the way, apropos of nothing, sorry, this isn't like a question or anything, but I remember in the past I was asked what was my spirit animal, and I think that in the meanwhile I figured it out. I think my spirit animal is a crab. I mean, think about it. It has a crusty, like, very hard-looking exterior that looks kind of intimating, but the inside is all soft and mushy, and if you boil it, it is tasting delicious. Also, they are super pig-headed and will punch a rock until it breaks, which kind of sounds like what something I'd be listening to would be into doing. So yeah, sorry about the interruption, but this is proof that no, when I take some of your questions, so I can't answer that. I need to think about it. The thinking sometimes keeps going on for real. Anyway, 1. What is the funniest unfortunate accident ever seen happen to some chump? Nothing worse than just, a person of perhaps disproportionate weight falling, like slipping on ice on a road and landing on their butt. As long as there is no, long-lasting pain or result of that, I think it's fair game. I think it's pretty funny. Once upon a time, in art studio, I sat on the chair, and this chair just shattered underneath me. No one laughed, and I thought that was weird, because in my mind, I thought that looking at that, I think it'd be kind of funny. So honestly, yeah, probably the funniest unfortunate accident featured me as the chump, but I was the only one that thought it was funny. 2. What's the slyest of japes you've ever inflicted on another human being? That I don't know. Like a jape, a practical joke, a prank. I don't have any that come to mind. And that's the kind of anecdote that if it's something you've indulged in, something would come to mind. But I mean, y'all know by now that I've led a fairly controlled, soft, not to say boring, but kind of boring life, man. My childhood was deprived of some childhoodness, not out of misery or anything, just that I was always kind of a quiet kid. So maybe I'll think of something, but as of now, nothing comes to mind. 3! Sometimes people will destroy video game objects in a fit of anger over video games. But I digress. What is the most expensive object you've destroyed because of video games? I don't think there's... And because of video games, destroyed, I don't think there's anything. I've damaged a cabinet because this was in the early playing over the internet days of Diablo 2, and my family had this very cheap, by which I mean free internet service that was offered by a company. The sense, I don't know if y'all remember this, but the service was free, but you had this like ad thing that you couldn't remove from your screen while you were on the internet. Didn't quite work because ultimately it ended up failing, but the problem is that it was so popular that it was extremely difficult to have a connection. As soon as you had a connection, like, it wasn't the most stablest thing ever. And I was trying to play Diablo 2, because Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and it just didn't work out. Like, it's just, I couldn't, it just, I would freeze, things would be super laggy, and at some point I lost connection. I couldn't move my character. But a person I was playing with was still could, like, he was trying to offer me an item or something, but no, and at some point it just busted, and I got angry, and I may or may not have hit the cabinet. But like, I didn't destroy it. It was still very usable. It was probably the angriest fit I've ever had, and the reasons that led to that angry fit to happen. 4. What is your favorite heroic last stand? Such an act requires lots of guts, and that makes it admirable. Guts. The tank guy from Tiananmen Square. That's quite a stand. 5. What objects would you take on? What objects would you take on a powerful wizard's magical mystery road trip? Road trip, huh? GPS is probably a good idea, but it'd be a magical GPS that not only would it tell you how to get to a place, but also when to get to a place, and also it would constantly recite the elemental components of matters that happen to be in front of the vehicle. It's not a very useful thing, and I can see it becoming really annoying really quick, but it's still the object I decide to bring. 6! There is a lucha trigger, and it is a move you can perform. But what is your favorite Fight Guys better mode? Oh, that took me a little while to parse there. Favorite mode? Yeah, lucha trigger is one thing. Like, Intenso, it's like, yeah, it's there. Devil trigger, sure, alright. Dragon install, it's like, yeah, that's a thing that exists. But what about the time dance? Now that is a mode you want on while you're baking pastries. 7. Who's your main? Well, obviously, it depends on the context, you know? But overall, I wish anything, it will always be the absolute closest thing to Tao Kaka. If there's a somewhat of an equivalent somewhere, it's where my brain fingers are gonna head towards. Maigu Wadaharu, I dare you to pronounce my real name. Michael Manasco. Manasco? Manasco. Mayonnaise Company. No, Michael Manasco? I think that's how I would pronounce it. Maybe I'm wrong, though. But that's how I pronounce it. I dare to I don't know if I pronounce it well, but you didn't dare me to pronounce it well. You just dare me to pronounce it, and I gave it a try. Michael Manasco. Telemon has a question in a foreign language. Quis custodiet ipsos custodos? Custodes. I don't know. My Latin is like super janky and super out of service. So let's see what this means. Who watches the Watchers? Google, you should be able to translate this here. That's not the correct quote, man. I mean, come on. And the answer is obviously James Jonah Jameson. I mean, everyone knows that. Whoopar! Anvil Studio is a pretty decent free .MIDI sequencer. It even has a piano interface that you can use to input the notes you want. It's pretty simple once you've played around with it for a few hours, but it helps to have at least a basic grasp of reading sheet music too, which I do have, by the way. Then you can use your choice of online .MIDI to .mp3 converter to make it sound less like a .MIDI. I keep pronouncing the dot because you keep putting it in there. I use soulmeyer.com because it's pretty simple and meets my needs, but there's also probably better out there if you look hard enough. If you don't mind me sort of plugging my own stuff, here's an example of what you can do with Anvil plus Soulmeyer, which is a Newgrounds Web link zone. Sorry, I still use Newsground. The only reputable audio hosting website I know of is SoundCloud, and you don't have unlimited storage there. Let's just loot up Newgrounds. I keep pronouncing Newsground, because that's Newgrounds where I get all my news. GDOC does yeah, no script. You're gonna let me use Newsgrounds, please. What else do I need to... Oh boy. Oh, Newgrounds files. It's probably something I need to access. Yeah. I mean... This sounds like music. I mean, yeah. Alright. So you're saying I could do this exact thing with Anvil Studio. Anvil's kind of a funny idea, like a forge tool to forge some music. I get where they got their inspiration. But yeah, give it a few months and you too can be pumping out sweet jams like these. Also, thanks for the happy birthday wish, and heck yeah to being recognizable. But yeah, I didn't need a shout out on a regular YouTube video or anything. Honestly, just hearing you say it all is what matters to me. Man, cheers me up a little. Well, I wish you didn't have, you know, to feel like you need to be cheered up to start with. Like, that's kind of an unfortunate thing. But hey, if my little bit of nonsense can bring you happiness, I'll gladly accept responsibility there. So I realize this needs to be darker. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm making the underside of the board darker. It's pretty exciting because when things are closer to the camera, they tend to get darker because, you know, there's less light between the object and the thing that's receiving the image, whether it be like a camera or your eyeballs or, you know, your skin if you are photosensitive to your skin, I suppose. There you go, look at that, and you can still see all the textures. The object there doesn't look at all like anything, even though it is supposed to be a thing. Sometimes I kind of get lost in the details. It happens. I am the kind of guy where that happens, and I bet it's not gonna surprise a whole lot of people. I'm kind of delaying because the next thing starts with a question, but there's a loop here! There's a very clear Smivex loop here going on. Newgrounds, you silly goose! I didn't click on this. Lovely penguin! Oh man, music! That's how I think a penguin would sound like. If you would give a penguin a voice, what would it sound like? You're not allowed to say, like, Pingu. Foozogs! That's the way we like it. Today is Doomsday. I'm kind of liking the beat here. Alright, no, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of digging this. Thank you for introducing me to something here, lovely penguin. Anyways, question. Have you ever finished a recording of I'm gonna start over. Have you ever finished recording a video and, satisfied with your work, scrapped it completely and started all over? Speaking strictly in terms of Let's Play, I used to. I don't know if y'all remember, but there are cases where I do a take two on things. That's exactly what was going on, right? Like, I would be so completely dissatisfied with the result of whatever I'm doing that I would rather just scrap it and start it back over, even if it means that it is not blind anymore. And it's something I do a lot less nowadays because I know it is better. Well, I know you guys like to have a blind rating on things. I'm a little better with my temper. And honestly, like, for the most part, back then, you know, editing was a thing I did because I had to. Now I edit a bit more because I like to. Editing is legitimately fun, at the very least with my workflow, which is extremely simple. So, but yeah, like, just in terms of LP, yeah, totally. In terms of, like, school stuff and whatnot, not really, though. Oh, there's been also several comic book pages. Like, note I made both in ATXT and Edicel currently. There are times where, like, I'm working on a page and I don't like it at all. I don't like what's going on, and I'm going to restart entirely. From the line of art. Like, color is easy to restart because I color digitally. Like, you just restart on a new layer or whatever. You use the erasing tool. It's all good. It's all gonna be okay. But no, my line art, it's handmade. It's ink on paper. And more often than not, I'd rather just scrap everything and start over. And usually because I have I know what can go wrong, and usually it's easy enough to avoid that happening again. Why is she surfing you wearing a normal dress? Well, she always goes everywhere with her normal stuff, so it's like whatever, man. It's like whatevs. Like whatevs. White Yoshi Egg does not says whatevs. He says, has making LPs in any way influenced the way you talk in real life? It's no secret that over the years you've gone from calm and reserved to outgoing and confident. I was wondering if that solely affected your internet persona, or if making videos for the internet can actually teach you to be a better public speaker-ish type person. Well, I think everyone will agree that if anything, my accent was muy improved by the fact that I've been speaking English like every day for several years now. And I mean, that's like, if anything, that's a big thing. But I mean, everyone knows that the best way to learn to master language is to use it at all times. I mean, I'm not learning anything new to one here, I hope. It didn't make me, I think, but to go back to your question, I think it did make me more confident in social situations. As I said earlier, while talking about how I made no pranks, because I'm a good boy, I've always been an introvert, and I've always been extremely reserved. In family reunions and gatherings and parties and whatnot, I'm the reserved guy that's just kind of like on his end of the table and listens in on peeps and whatnot. That's just always how I've been. But, there was a time where if I was addressed, I'd be that typical nerdy, like super kind of awkward, stammering, doesn't really know what to say kind of guy. But nowadays, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I can almost hold a conversation, maybe, if I'm in a situation where I'm addressed. But like for example, I've able to explain to people, like normies, to use a word that's kind of gross, what LP is all about, and what it is I'm doing, and how it is that's my career, or at least my job, in a way that they understand. I mean, I had a job for a while for this, where my job was to explain things to people badly. A part of this, and I think a big part of this, is that because I've just been speaking and talking and talking, I'm not afraid of talking anymore, Talking is just a thing you do. It's a tool for communication. It's really useful. Everyone should try talking once in a while. It can be a good process. And I'm saying how it improved my English and whatnot, but I mean back then, even in French, I was stammering and whatnot. If I was engaged in a conversation that wasn't with a close friend, it took me a little bit, But nowadays, I can talk with a stranger without any problems. I'll have maybe some issues approaching, but, once the approach is done, talking isn't going to be the issue. And I can definitely blame Let's Plays on that particular improvement, as accidental as it may be. But I mean, that's normal, though. The more you do a thing well, the better you're gonna be at it. I always need to add well, because it's the adage, practice makes perfect. It's not true. It's practice well makes perfect. You can practice something badly, and you'll just learn bad things. But that's kind of going off tangent. We don't got time for tangents. But yeah, no. But I'm still a lot calmer and stuff in the real life. Ask peeps that, if ask my internet friends I speak with in the internet, and they'll tell you that in a conversation, more often than not, I'm the listener. I'll chime in with a funny joke, maybe that I hope is funny or something, from time to time. But I'm not the one that's gonna bring the subjects, unless we're in like very specific kind of situations. But that's just how I am. I like to listen. I love the listening part of conversations. But yeah, yeah. I don't know. Making me think here. Gregory Coca-Cola is gonna make me not think. Due to reasons, both of your hands must be surgically replaced with kitchen utensils. We have doctors that work for free in Canada. Y'all gotta remember this. Which utensil do you choose for your left hand and which for your right? Now, how wide are we in terms of utensil here? I'm going to assume that by utensil, kitchen utensil is any kind of utensil you'll find in a kitchen. Like, makes sense, yeah, but so what I would do is that I'm just thinking which one would be the right and which one would be the left, because one of my hands would be salad tongs, so I can like squeeze things and hold things well, and the other hand would be a fork, so I can poke things and scratch things. So so that I can keep the most amount of dexterity that our natural evolution of hands have given us. And I think that's a combination that would let me do the most amount of things, but I'm not sure which hand would be the best. Like, I want to hold things with my right hand because I'm right-handed, but I also want to poke and scratch things and, fork things, bring food to my mouth with my right hand also. I guess I would be better off holding with my left, so I can do more dexterous thing with a fork with my right. So there you go. I solved the puzzle. Adam Gordon also want to make sure folk were aware of Severed, the new project by the Guacamole Studio. It looks amazing! Then he gives us an internet web zone, so let's go check that out real quick. Real nasty here. Let's check it out. Where are we now? Oh, severe. Well, it keeps. I'm seeing a certain resemblance. I don't know. It's really subtle. Oh, jeez. That's Severed. This is being Severed. Then you've got, an Indian lady and Majora's Mask version. Take control of one-armed warrior named Sasha, wielding a living sword in her journey through a nightmare world. Search for family, and there's a whole bunch of skulls on the borders of the screen you can't see. It features music, features severing, and it features style. All the things you need when you make a video game. There's a Severed FAQ. Unfortunately, the FAQ is all in pieces, so you can't really access it yet. But it's being in development. Honestly, this looks... Is it a 3D game, though? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't understand, what kind of game it actually is. It sure looks like the style is there 100,000%. But if you enter your email, keep up with Drinkbox update, but the bird is having issues. It drank a little bit too much rhinoceros juice. That happens. But no, honestly, this looks pretty neat, but I don't get much of a sense for what kind of game it is. Guacamole is pretty good. This may come as a shock for me to say it like that, out loud, like that, out of the blue. But I don't know if it's true, but it is my feeling on things. Weimar saying, y'all, you are suddenly made into a powerful wizard. Other than the time travel spell needed to go back in time to write all of these comments. What would your spell selection look like? Well, other than time magic, I would have Fireball, I would have Ice Ball, I would have Levitate, I would have Phase Through Solid Matter, and I would have Summon Sandwich. I mean, with all that, you're covered for... Summon Wi-Fi Signal would also be really useful. all that, you're good to go to do pretty much anything you want. Cubic Tom's all, I'm very much looking forward to you playing Jump, mainly because I want to see what it is like when a competent Mario player plays it. Wow, rude to other people you see play it, I guess. Oh, Cubic Tom! Oh, boy, yeah, you're doing a Let's Play of that game, aren't you? Oh man, that's self-deprecation. Never thought I'd see that coming. I've just finished the World 2 Castle. It took me nearly 2 hours to complete. Gotta remember that, because now I'm gonna be curious. If I remember that, I'll be like, oh man, I'm gonna remember that. I want you there. Translate, you're not even a real character. There you go. It's all good now. This level isn't that hard. I'm just that bad. My question is there a reason that you'd prefer to play the VIP 2 translation before Jump? Also, has winter arrived yet in Canada, or is it weather still all wrong? It was 13 degrees Celsius here in Ireland on Christmas Day, a temperature we'd be lucky to get in the summer. Ellipses. To answer the weather question, we are now a bit more in the winter. There's snow everywhere at the very least, although it still hovers in like the low tens, high single digits, up to and including getting all the way back to 0 for a couple of days. So we're still, I mean, we got snow. Outside it looks like winter, but it feels like March. It doesn't feel like January. And it's crazy. It's insane. It's crazy insane. But here we are. It's the weather, I guess. We can't do much about. The reason why I insist on playing VIP 2 first is a very simple reason. It's that VIP 2 was one of the winners of Patreon vote number 1. And it's, like, legitimately super embarrassing that I have not yet come to play it, you know? Considering I'm currently playing the winner of Patreon vote number 2. I mean, the reason for that is that Horika wanted to redo the translation, and part of that is not just because of translation issues, but because her patch breaks a few levels, like in the late/endgame. And we don't want to have that, you know, going on in the project. So those are concerns we want to address, which is fair. But, you know, and then Magalex 2 happened, which kind of shifted priorities around. Now that's over. She told me she'd be able to get it done. And so, there we go. Like, and I want to do VIP 2. Also, I'm really looking forward to playing VIP 2. And also, Jump was released after I, you know, made my mind to be playing VIP 2. So I still gotta... You know, I still gotta try and do things in the order I said I would do. Like, it's bad enough that I've removed Asp Mario from definitely after Magalex 2 to somewhere in the future, maybe, hopefully. But, yeah, that's pretty much why and how and why. It's not a very funny answer, but that's what it is. Yo. Miko Fire! I didn't intend to pester about boogifs with my question, but I will nonetheless refrain from further pestering for this month. Anyway, nonsense word that sounds like questions, and I just keep reading out as questions during this seminar every week anyways, so the joke is lost. 1. If you were to go on a run from the authorities, what would your fake name be? You can tell us, we give you money, and that means we are trustworthy. Benjamin Franklin. No one will suspect that guy. 2. Continuing with the above theme, where would you go to hide from the aforementioned authority? Did I mention how trustworthy we Patreonites are? Benjamin Franklin Memorial Museum. I'm pretty sure that exists somewhere in the U.S. Y'all tell me. 3. Would you marry a robot? Well, you know what? If I fall in love, sure. Considering love is an exchange of brain chemicals, you know, in a biological sense, I don't know if that can exist. I don't know if that can happen. But if it happens, I mean, who am I to judge anyone? last of all, myself, you know? 4. What game, parentheses S, could you stream? I don't know. Mario Maker is an obvious thing. Sometimes I play Hearthstone on the side, except, I don't know, like, there's like a zillion Hearthstone streams that exist. And I don't know why anyone would want to watch someone who is actually legitimately bad at the game. But that's a possibility. The past few days, I've been wondering if Diablo 3 would be a good game to stream. I'll brainstorm this out with you guys here, just a little pitch. Because Diablo 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I just so happened to have mentioned this earlier today. Diablo 3, I played up to the early parts of the desert, and then I just stopped and never played again forever. And I don't know why. I kind of want to at least finish a run of the game eventually in my lifetime, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen, unless I do it for the internet. On the other hand, also, the problem is that Diablo 3 is a terrible game for a traditional Let's Play. It just doesn't really segment well enough for it. And also, you've got slower parts where you got to return in town, and then there's the whole, power management and leveling up and equipment management and all that. Maybe it would do a good stream. What do you guys think about this? One day, I'm gonna try to block out a time and do a live stream and see how it goes. Maybe that'd be a good game for it. I don't know. I bought it, so I would just need to re-download it. That's not a problem. I'm just wondering. It's been a while since I've played it, though. I've heard it change a lot. Back when I played, it was, during year 1. So, the game is probably not recognizable, and I would have to start again all over the place. I'm aware of this. A big problem is that I kind of fall onto, during that game, I fall real hard to, that issue where, you play a bit with a character, with a class, and you're like, I want to try another one. I want to try with another one. And I just kind of, burnt myself on the early game stuff. Just trying it out with all the different characters. Whereas with Diablo 2, my first character was an Amazon, and I finished the game with Amazon before I tried playing around with the other characters. That might be a big thing, and doing it for the internet would prevent me from falling into alteritis. I don't know. What are y'all thoughts? 5. Who watches The Watchmen? The Watchmen's boss, although a lot of jewelers and whatnot are independent, small business owners. So, their wives themselves, the security cameras they've installed in their building, those are always on alert. 6. The papers want to know whose shirt you wear. That's a lyric from Space Oddity. I'm not just being creepy. I tend to wear my own shirt. This may come as a surprise. 7. What do you use to consume your mangas? That's either paper. I know, right? I read them in book form, or if it's scanlation, I'll just go on Kiss Manga, or directly to the scanlation group's homepage. If I know who they are, / they have said homepage. For example, Fallen Angel for Boku no Hero Academia. 8. What does one start giving a crap? How does one start? You're not asking the right person here, buddy. Just gotta get invested. It's all about getting invested. Get invested. Put some money down. 9. One day you turn on your powerful TV and hear quite possibly the best news of your life. What are these hypothetical good news? And then there's Jack's obligatory music request I'm going to put down here. Best news of my life? Either cancer... Ooh, Yumi Nikki. Either cancer and Alzheimer has been completely obliterated from the planet, or suddenly the U.S. started to, man up with the rest of the Earth and to start to seriously try to fix that whole pollution problem that's kind of been an issue for a few decennia, which is a fancy way of saying chunks of 10 years. Yeah, probably. I mean, you started with the best news, but I mean, they're plural, so all of those together. Also, we have found extraterrestrial life, and they gave us a thumbs up and are giving us free money. There, that's all. If all that happened on the same time, and it happened during a part of the segment of the news where they just show cute kittens doing cute kitteny stuff, like that's just the best TV news program that ever happened right there. I'm getting a bit surreal with these a little bit. I apologize. Kitty Kami! Every once in a while, Raocow ends a video repeating a random phrase over and over until a video eventually just cuts off. So when he started repeating, I mean, over and over, with over half an hour left in the video, started to get a bit worried. I haven't fallen down to that amount of repetition yet. Don't worry for now. Regarding names that sound funny in French, there's actually a story about a Puerto Rican baseball player from the 1950s named Vic Power, who started his career in the minor leagues in Quebec. His real name was Vic Payot. How is that funny? But every time his name was announced, he noticed that the Quebecois fans started laughing. He eventually found out that it was because his name sounded similar to a vulgar French-Canadian slang term, plot. Oh, okay, so I mispronounced his name. Plot is another way of saying slut. There you go. And he ended up changing his name, at least for professional purposes. I don't think he legally changed it because of this. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, I wonder how you're supposed to pronounce his name though, because it doesn't really work. At least the way I'm reading it. And this is the last time I remember Raocow being drunk, with a link that also includes a timestamp. I'm Super Marissa Laundry Poultry. Oh, it's Ryson.
Oh man, drunk fighting. Look at
well,
what?
I mean,
oh wow.
I mean, technically, it was fake drunk. I was playing a role. I was doing an act. I'm sorry if this destroys your worldview things here, but no, like, just you know, I mean, you know, I mean, where am I even going? No, it's just no, like I wasn't. Right now, I'm saying weird, and I'm kind of swearing because I've had not enough sleep. This happens. Man, be less loud, please, Raocow. I'm trying to compete with you for sound attention here. Actually, let's just look at this way. A still image. See, look at that awesome action pose Marissa's having there. That's how you know she is a cool lady. Xerix! As an artist, do you have any tips on how to get motivated to do things? I know artist block is a thing and generally doesn't have a cure, and I don't really think that's what I have. But I'm so terrible at just sitting down and drawing / working on some X levels. Just wondering if you had anything you do to psych up. Not really. To me, it is an ongoing issue that happens all the time. There's not really a secret to it. It's what, like, it depends on how you work as a person. I like schedules. I like when things have a clear start and end spot in the day. So it's just like, you know, the day before I'm like, okay, so tomorrow from 1 to 4, you're working on this. I say to me in this sort of like authoritative way. And on the following day, you know, I'm just gonna pull up my branches, stick a tree in a yard, and do it. But that's how I work myself. I'm aware this is not a possibility for everyone. That's just how I work me. Poo-doo-poo-poo-doo-poo. I don't know if it's very useful, but try it. I mean, maybe it'll work. Depends a lot on your psychology. No, that a thing that exists, the psychology. But if you have some, put it on wheat bread. It's delicious. Ramos the few. So, if all the other characters in ATXS have verbs for names, why is it sheath and not sheath? I'm just gonna put down the. Why is it sheath? The verb for the noun for a sword sheath, not sheath. The verb. There's no in-universe explanation. The real explanation is that I'm an idiot. Y'all know I type terribly, and it's basically a spelling mistake on my end that was never fixed. Yeah, exciting answer. There's music from my soul. Let's see how that goes. We pissed 4. Oh wow, French version of the Pokemon rap. No, not the Pokemon rap. It's what kind of Pokemon are you? Enclose a poster of all 150 Pokemon! Huh, no S. I never noticed. Wow, that's... This is... Yeah, me and AOD at some point decided that the real name for Sheath is with an E, and without an E is a cute nickname given to her by her brother when they were younger, and it just stuck. It makes absolutely no sense, but that's the explanation we went with in the sort of series Bible that was never written down anywhere, but exists merely inside our brains. Make a fire! Further names that are unintentionally funny in Finnish. Minor Mesopotamian god Kaka, poo, and traditional Ukrainian Easter bread Pascha, shit. Wikipedia truly is full of useful information. Question before I forget, how would you rate your skills at IRL painting, meaning not using a computer, but with an actual physical canvas with paints and brushes and what have you? I've done, I think I'm off. It's hard to answer. Like, I can't apply paint to a canvas. I believe, and I have been told by my teachers and whatnot, that I have an excellent grasp of light and shadows, but I've always super duper pooper looper dupers mega struggled with, painting realistic depiction of a thing. Like, if you try to make me paint a still life, the shadow, the nature, the colors are gonna be there, but the shapes are gonna be not. And I don't understand that. I have one of those medical conditions that I completely forgot the name that makes it so that I have like trouble applying very fine movements with my hands and arms. So that stops me from doing very light, like, subtle details. And I think that's just kind of like what has all been stopping me there. It contributed to making me having... This is distracting. But yeah. But, I guess if you want to do something neat, abstract, or, like, paint something cartoony, I'm your guy. I can do abstract landscapes pretty good, I think, in my personal opinion. I guess it depends what you want to have done. You got a music request, but it's gonna have to wait, so I'm just gonna move on to your other question. Furthermore, depending on your answer to the previous question, what are the chances of a Let's Draw video in Bob Ross mode? Apologies if this questionnaire has inadvertently insulted you. I don't know much about artistic techniques. You mean like with actual paint? That's very unlikely, not only because this has been too long, but setting up a paint area in my current living conditions would be difficult without just taking over like the dining room or something, which I kind of don't want to do. And also just painting a painting, like standing up painting a painting for the internet, like with real, that would also have camera related difficulties, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe I'm wrong. By the way, Micklefire said, I've done music requests at the beginning and end of a post, so here's a small one in the middle for a change. Fortunately, due to timing of questions, not being at the end anyways, the Nier soundtrack, his dream. That guy's dream, the fishman, he is dreaming right now. And he dreams entirely through sound. It's pretty. It's actually, that's an interesting concept. Oh wow, we're almost getting done for today, this week, tomorrow. Also, tomorrow is part of today, which is part of next week. A mighty hello to you, Raocow. I hope you don't mind me asking you to weigh in on this highly political and hostile debate. So please take a moment and prepare your thoughts. What is Catnip's least favorite food? I know, you tend to not like getting political in these videos, so I do apologize for asking, but I'm just really curious. Well, let's think about it. What can you not eat with Catnip? So you can't eat Charlie's, so she doesn't like sweat. She doesn't like salty type flavors. She likes meat in general, but there's something about Charlie meat, you know, that there's something, maybe there's too much fiber? I don't know. I don't know if that's, like, it's not necessarily Natasha doesn't like, but it's a food, maybe it's the shell, it's the armor, the football armor, if they were naked, now no problem. Shells in general, actually, if you think about it. You know, the Catnip will gladly eat the inside of a Koopa or a Goopa, but the shell, no, ain't interested with that. It's gonna spit that right out. Not a good food. Something to keep in mind. What else? Snake, like normal snakes, banana snakes, no problem. But the king banana snake, scourge of the underworld, don't want that in its digestive system. I don't know why. The duck king doesn't want that. Duck, not a... You know what? That surprises me. But turns out, Catnip doesn't like white meat all that much. Huh. We learn something every day. Pretty weird, isn't it? I can't think of, like, ghosts. Ectoplasm? Not a fan. Just has this really weird aftertaste, and honestly, Catnip would just rather not have to deal with that. That's something I honestly respect. It's an acquired taste. Ectoplasm is hard. You kind of need to basically be raised on eating that kind of food for you to have a taste for it, honestly. That's just kind of like what it is. Why is Wreckful in every one of these thumbnails? That is weird. What's going on? Pizza Pony, what's going on? Don't worry, Raocow. Me being slow to writing out all these questions isn't because I'm forcing myself to. I just usually get distracted by YouTube videos and WoW. WoW, by the way, kids, stands for World of Warcraft. First video to watch. You mentioned how you like fourth wall jokes when they're done good. Well, here's one of my favorite that's really more of a fourth wall obliteration from the cartoon Chowder. Oh, I know what they're talking about. Kanta as a character starts spending their money frivolously. You say just a minute 15 long. I'm not leaving that in the video. It's too long for inside a video, then I can't be saying anything else. But I know what it is. In fact, I know what it is. I'm not gonna say what it is. Y'all go to this web zone here. Why am I keep stealing jokes from Red Letter Media? I don't know. But go to that address, youtube.be, so you know, YouTube, / capital T, capital J, capital T, capital P, small b, 9, small l, capital Z, 7, that looks like a small W, capital E. For an excerpt from the hit cartoon Chowder. I'm assuming you did all that. Music is made of sounds. That's an accurate statement, but I feel like some amount of detail might have been dropped from that statement. Splatoon Splattack! Fulver. See Fulver. Splatoon has an interesting soundtrack. It sounds like it's straight out of the 90s. Except there's still, like, it's not obnoxious like things that are actually from the 90s. I'm not sure how they managed that, how to do that, because it's kind of incredible, but here we are. One, just making sure you saw the comments I left on the scratching of my present about the cookies. Yeah, I did. If not, go look at it and confirm that you agreed to terms and services. I cannot confirm when it's gonna happen, but I agreed to the terms and services of... I'm terrible at making food, though, so it's probably not gonna end out great. Patreon request to Patreon! Put your music before your questions, cough, fire, cough! This is super serious business, don't you know? That wasn't a question, though. 3. What size drink do you normally drink when eating a meal? If I'm at a if I'm at like a place, like a fast food joint, I'll take large. I enjoy consuming liquids. I like to drink a lot. Not in drink as in drinking alcohol, but just drinking, like inserting liquids inside my body in general, using the oral, orientation, not like through syringes or anything. Just, I like drinking. I like to drink. So, give me more of that, please. 4. Going somewhat dark and emotional with this one. Say you accidentally cause the death of someone. Let's say they purposefully jump in front of your car to commit suicide. Would that event cause you not be able to record videos for a while? Would you let us know of the event immediately after a few days or never? Of course, I cannot answer this because I have no idea how I would react. This is the kind of thing that honestly you don't know how you're gonna react to this until it happens. What I think would happen, like what I would hope would be the case, is that I would cry. No, I would, well maybe. I would... There might be an instance where I don't make any videos for a day or two, but I would, without necessarily going to the detail, I would do a short video of just going, yo, I gotta, walk through a thing. I gotta think through a thing. I'll be back on the internet for real in a day or two. Like, no matter what, I always like to be clear when, like, I don't like unexplained absence, and I'm always gonna make sure that something is up. And in the worst case, I'm just gonna explain what's going on afterwards. That's what I hope I would do now while I am 100% rational and not in this situation. Would it diverge if it would happen for real? Maybe. Like, it's hard for me to know in advance. 5. Now for something more happy. My throat is getting scorched, by the way. If you had the ability to fly, would you want it to be with wings, no wings, Superman style, or riding on a trusty winged steed? If it is you that has wings, what would they look like? With something right, what would it be? I'd rather, I guess, if I have no choice, fly Superman style, for the simple reason that wings would require me to get a whole new wardrobe, which is an expensive thing I would rather not deal with, and the steed is unreliable because it is a completely different, living being. Of course, I'd get a friend, but it's still a separate being, and I'd rather just be able to fly on my own accord. For some reason, there's no development question for if you pick the Superman option, so I guess I would just look like an idiot like Superman in the air, but I can live with that. And 6, describe or draw your luchador mask, costume, and name. Does it look anything like this? And then there is a Kinnikuman Wikia, because everything has a Wikia link. And Canadian Man, Canadian Man. Well, that's vaguely racist, but I mean that's Kinnikuman. He was voiced by Yunihiko Kitawa in the anime, and Tuji Totani in the PlayStation 2 game. Classification Saigi Chujin? I don't know enough about Kinnikuman to really understand that, but I'm glad to see 1 million power. Permafrost drop, what does that imply? Like, you do a drop and then the person loses his fingers? That's kinda... I don't know if I like the idea of that. That's a little bit violent there. I don't know, man, though, what it would be. Would be green with like, vine-like patterns, but it'd be a big orange eyeball, like, sort of like in the back. So I can go, whoa, you may be behind me, but I got my eyes on you! And, yeah. And I'd be wearing, gloves made out of paper bags because that's my gimmick. And I would dance. That's my special move. I dance and then I trip over and I fall on a person and then they get pinned by accident. Basically, I just transform the whole match into a clown show, and everyone is super insulted, and I'm never invited back into the ring ever again. This got real sad, but I mean that's how it's gonna happen. Just sometimes you just get bad ideas. That's how it goes. This is just how it is, man. That is why, the ultimate ornithopter only appeared on a match once. One last question by Sins. Hey there, Raocow. Little music thingy and a little heads up. Let's start with a little music thingy. Technically, it's a musical link / request. It's nothing unusual, but Latin jazz. That's a Can Cole lady, I believe, judging by the giant cannon sticking out of her wing parts of the back. I guess it's a remix. So yeah, Can Cole slowly and steadily replacing Toho on the internet. Now they even have jazz arrangements, I guess. I think I sent a friend request on Steam. I'm wondering if you saw it. I'm not sure if you see it as the name I have here, or with the _9001 at the end. Yeah, I saw, after I read this, I went to check on Steam, and I added you as a friend, because I recognized your name, because it was what you said it was gonna be. So, wow, that's... You've accidentally created kind of a hilariously anticlimactic end there, Since. Congrats! I guess I'll seek that with saying, like, if any of y'all want to add me on, like, Steam or something, just... And I might not necessarily guess what your username is, because it's very different than what you normally use, don't be afraid to tell me. I guess, if on Skype or something, I might add you, but be aware that even if I show up to be there on Skype, doesn't mean that I am there on Skype. I am actually relatively hard to get hold of if you don't have if we don't have like some kind of business together, like some kind of a appointment for something. Like I'm just gonna like say that outright so there's no bad surprises. But yeah. The donut loving vampire. That's a username. Congrats, YouTube. So yeah, wow. Today went smoothly. Today went pretty quick. I am unable to tell if an image is finished or not. It's just at some point I just stop. But I think the image is complete. It's surfing ? I really took a lot of importance with the question mark part. In fact, I'm just gonna add one little thing here. And then I'm gonna let y'all go for today. It's sad, isn't it? But unfortunately, that's just how it goes. The world is part of time. And time is linear. Not only is it linear, it keeps moving forever. And always at the same pace. And whatever you do, whatever you want, whatever you think, nothing will ever change this. So what you gotta do, each and every one of you, is make the most out of this constantly moving forward like time. And make sure that, so that, in the end, once you run out of it, as everyone is wont to do eventually, you can look back and say, you know what? My time was well used. I was efficient. That doesn't mean you should become an accountant or something, like that's completely different. This is Raocow! This was the Patreon video, and as always, the moods keep on swinging.